The UK Treasury just got a lot smaller. Rachel Reeves is making moves. The UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer is slashing hundreds of jobs from the Treasury, and she's offering exit packages worth up to £100,000 to get people to leave. Yeah, you heard that right. Six-figure payouts to walk away. This is one of the most aggressive cost-cutting measures we've seen from a Labour government in recent memory, and the irony here is absolutely not lost on anyone. Let's get into it. So here's what's happening. Rachel Reeves, Britain's first female chancellor, running the Treasury under Keir Starmer's Labour government, has just announced massive job cuts within her own department. We're talking hundreds of civil service positions being eliminated. And to sweeten the deal, or maybe to avoid a complete staffing disaster, they're offering voluntary exit packages worth up to £100,000. That's roughly 125,000 US dollars for those keeping track. That's a massive payout for voluntary redundancy. Now, if you're thinking, wait, isn't Labor supposed to be the party that protects public sector workers? Yeah, that's exactly what a lot of people are saying right now. The party that traditionally stands up for workers, for unions, for public services, is now cutting hundreds of jobs from one of the most important government departments in the country. The optics? Not great. The necessity? Well, that depends on who you ask. Quick pause for effect. Let's talk about why this is happening, because there's actually a method to this madness, even if it looks completely contradictory to Labour's brand. Rachel Reeves has been vocal about wanting to fix Britain's public finances. The UK is dealing with massive debt, economic challenges post-Brexit, inflation issues, and a budget that's stretched thinner than my patience during a software update. She's essentially inherited an economic mess and is trying to clean it up. Her argument goes something like this. We need to make government more efficient. We can't keep spending money we don't have. Sometimes that means tough decisions, including cutting jobs. And look, in theory, that makes sense. Every business, every organization periodically looks at its staffing and asks, are we running efficiently? Do we have redundancies? Can we do more with less? But here's the catch. You're offering people £100,000 to leave. Those exit packages don't come cheap. You're spending potentially tens of millions of pounds up front to reduce your long-term wage bill. It's a gamble that the savings over time will outweigh the immediate costs. And politically, it's a minefield because you're the Labour Party, the party that literally exists because of the labor movement. And now Labour's chancellor is doing exactly what a conservative chancellor would do, cutting public sector jobs and offering golden handshakes to make people disappear quietly. The conservatives are probably watching this unfold like, so when we do austerity, we're evil, but when they do it, it's fiscal responsibility? Interesting. And the unions? Oh man, the unions are not happy. These are Labour's traditional allies, and they're watching the party slash jobs in the civil service. You can practically hear the collective facepalm from union headquarters. It's giving major, you were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them energy. But let's flip this around for a second and look at it from Reeves' perspective, because it's not quite as simple as Labour bad cuts bad. The Treasury is one of the bloated departments in government. It's grown significantly over the years, and there's a legitimate argument that it's become inefficient. Multiple layers of bureaucracy, overlapping roles, processes that take forever because too many people have to sign off. Reeves might be looking at this thinking, we can actually serve the British people better with a leaner, more agile treasury. Fewer delays, faster decisions, less red tape. And plus, this is crucial, these are voluntary redundancies. Nobody's being forced out. People who want to stay can stay. People who've been thinking about leaving anyway get a golden parachute to do it. In HR terms, that's about as humane as layoffs get. And those £100,000 packages, they're probably targeting at senior civil servants who've been there for decades and have massive pension obligations anyway. Getting them to leave now with a lump sum might actually save money long term compared to keeping them on salary plus pension for years. So there is a logic here. It's just really uncomfortable logic for a Labour government to be executing. Here's what this means politically and why it matters beyond just Treasury staffing numbers. First, this sets a precedent. If the Treasury can cut hundreds of jobs, what about other departments? Education, health, defense? Is this the start of a wider austerity program under Labor? Because if it is, that's a massive departure from what they campaigned on. Second, this damages Labor's credibility with its base. Public sector workers voted Labor expecting protection. They're now watching a Labor government do exactly what a conservative government does. That breeds cynicism and could cost Labor support where it counts. And third, and this is the kicker, if these cuts don't result in better government performance, Reeves is done. If the Treasury becomes less efficient, if services suffer, if things slow down even more, the opposition will absolutely crucify her for it. She's betting her political capital that smaller means better. And fourth, those 100,000-pound exit packages are going to be a headline nightmare. Labor pays civil servants six figures to quit while nurses struggle with pay. Writes itself. Fair or not, that's how it'll be spun. What this really shows us is the fundamental challenge of governing versus campaigning. It's easy to promise everything when you're in opposition. It's a lot harder when you actually have to balance the books and make real decisions with real consequences. Rachel Reeves is learning that lesson in real time. She's trying to be fiscally responsible while leading a party that traditionally prioritizes spending on public services. Those two things don't always align nicely. The question is whether Labor voters will accept responsible governance as an excuse for what looks a lot like austerity they voted against. That's the gamble Reeves is making. So, there you have it. Rachel Reeves cutting hundreds of Treasury jobs with 100,000-pound exit packages, Labor doing austerity with a friendlier face, and the political contradictions are absolutely glaring. But what's your take? Smart fiscal management or betrayal of Labor values? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're enjoying this political coverage, smash that subscribe button for more. I'll catch you in the next one. End screen with subscribe button.